right, let's look at exercise 4 and 5. And I'll just work through it together. You can check your work. So it says there's a translation along vector AB and a reflection across line L. Okay, so I'm going to trace out my figure. I'll just do there's our black figure. It says in number 4, it says to first translate figure S. So this is S here. I'm going to translate it along the vector AB. And when I do that, it moves it on this side of the line of reflection. So I'm going to copy it. Whoops. Should end up somewhere right down here. And I know some of you are concerned about being messy, and you could just be as accurate as possible. And so there's my intermediate step, and now it said translate and then reflect. So I'm going to stay right here, trace out my line of reflection, and I'm going to trace this point right here since it's marked so that I get this flip in the right place. So now I'm flipping my overhead, lining everything up, and there's my reflected image right here. And there, and there, so I can draw it. Okay, and I'm told to label this one S prime. So there's S prime. Now we're going to do it in the opposite order. I'm going to start over here. And so I did the translation first, then the reflection. So this time I'm going to start again with figure S. This time I'm going to reflect across line L first. Mark this point. So flip across line L, and there's where the intermediate step is, but I'm not done yet because I still have to translate this image. Like that. Okay, so now I'm here, and I'm going to trace my vector now, vector AB. Right here, and there's my intermediate step. I'm going to go down right here, and it's almost off the page. So this ends up, this image ends up right down here. And this is S double prime for exercise 5. So we have completed exercises 4 and 5. These two were just the intermediate steps between translation and reflection. So S prime is translated first, then reflected. This is reflected first, then translated. So you can see beyond a shadow of a doubt now that order definitely matters. Okay, what I'd like you to do now before we move on to exercise 6 is to watch the other, there's a video in your playlist that's about 1 minute and 41 seconds, I believe, called Composition of Rigid Motions, and it's done by someone who's much better at animation than I am. And it shows you a sequence of transformations, and it uses all three. It uses translation, reflection, and rotation, and it maps a figure onto another figure to show that they're congruent. So that's where we're going with this, to be able to prove these things in geometry. So go ahead and watch that video, and then we will talk about exercise 6 and 7.